How's this now? No, the owl's still connected.
Yeah, it was a little bad.
It's like Big Brother. Carl unplugged a cord. The owl is.
That sounds way better. There you go.
Yeah.
No reckon.
We might have lost Dawn permanently, though, in which case we lost our quorum.
He'll probably join back on. We both got kicked. It said the meeting was over.
Yeah, I felt like such a jerk. I was like, let us know if you're not going to be there. And then you guys are like, oh, we've been sitting here.
I'm just listening in tonight. It looked like a short agenda. Trying to pump out what work I can before I go.
Oh, I guess I need to keep myself off mute so they can hear you guys. Here.
All right. Can you hear me, Don? Oh, now we can't hear you. Can you hear him?
We can hear them. They're just on mute.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yes. Good.
Okay.
Call the meeting to order at 5:51 due to technical difficulties. And the first order is the approval of the minutes of September 12th, 2022, where you elected me chairman again when I was absent.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Any errors, omissions, or changes? Hearing none. Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
3, 1 abstain because I wasn't here. Okay. Oh, you take great minutes. So. All right. So we're down to property maintenance ordinance, and what was the distribution on Dusty Jones's one? Dusty Jones sent along a message where he was basically saying, getting my glasses. Apparently he's traveling, but his main thing is this ordinance should be public safety. It enables the town to compel a property owner to perform maintenance or repairs in a timely manner, especially those that constitute a safety hazard. That is his prime concern. I ran through it with my red pen. I didn't have a lot of it.
There were two emails from Dennis. You have them.
Annual inspections of commercial buildings.
One is
possibly rental buildings.
The town to take somebody's property if nothing was done. Said I doubt it. Add language elsewhere for the correction period. Not sure what that means. There were public comments about grass and peeling paint, not likely to be enforced anyway. Do you have that?
That was, I don't have it printed, but that was long. Okay. I remember reading that one.
And then the other one is I have been talking to the code enforcement officer. Do you have that?
That one's right here. Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know, relative to my changes, my suggested changes, which I can email along, but I don't know how you want to go about this. This was going to be quite a reread, I guess.
Oh, wow.
Recent paper manuscript. So I guess I'll jump in with mine, and if anybody else has something else. First one I had was under 16.2 maintenance standards. I struck all of N2 or more unregistered, uninspected vehicles. We have a graveyard ordinance that kicks in at 3. So that sentence would now read inoperable appliances and worn or used furniture, period. At least, these are my thoughts. I can give you the whole thing.
Okay.
I
In
think
fact,
that
I'll
makes
give you
sense.
this. 16.3. I basically scratched the entire first paragraph. And I say first paragraph, let me see if there's 2. No, there's only 1. And rewrote it to be, which is required maintenance of structures. Each property owner and mortgagee shall maintain all exterior components of every principal and accessory structure, including but not limited to walls, roofs, chimneys, cornices, gutters, porches, fire escapes, exterior stairs, windows, doors, and storefronts, so as not to create a safety hazard to themselves or the public. I think I was employing, putting in what Dusty wanted.
Do we want to discuss those changes or take them on?
Yeah, I think we go one by one here.
Yeah. So overall, I like the edits you made, Carl. I think it's important that we're making the case that these are mainly to prevent safety hazards. With the language before you changed it, I was hesitant because in effect, it punishes people for potentially not having the resources to maintain their house perfectly. And I don't think that the town should be in the business of trying to punish people for having some missing shingles.
No, I should. No, Dusty and his is right. It should be lifted.
So that paragraph that Carl wrote seems to.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
so.
I use a lot of the same words as far as what's concerned, what it covers, but
Mhm.
hopefully changed it to it's got to be a public safety hazard.
Yeah, I like Carl's changes.
And get them all out to you.
Carl, what are your thoughts about adding insulation? Any asbestos insulation in any of these old houses around here?
I'm sure there is. Do we want that under a maintenance ordinance, or is that under more of a building code? I don't know which. Well, now I've adopted the states, so I don't know, but I just know from watching these DIY shows that they frequently end up with, oh, you have a lead or you have an asbestos problem.
Yeah.
We can't go forward until that's dealt with. So.
Yeah. Or lead paint too.
And I have a young lady friend. She has a contracting business, and they all went through the testing procedures so that they can say, yeah, no.
Just a thought. I like the way it reads. It was just a thought that maybe should that be added in there?
I'm just not sure it goes into what I think.
Okay. All right. I'm okay with that.
I don't think it's a bad idea.
I think it's a good note to take and see if the state already covers it. And if they don't, then is there some place the town should potentially cover it?
Yeah. Okay.
Page and like that. Yeah. How could I lose a page?
Yeah, I know for a fact the state oversees all the lead paint, and guys are going to be charging you well over $100 for painting over lead and taking care of it. They have to take a week course, I believe, to do so. To be
For lead or asbestos? I know like I said, my
lead certified.
Paint was a class. I don't know how long it was.
Yeah, I think it's about a week course.
16.4 required maintenance in yard areas. Middle paragraph I struck firmly anchored in the ground and maintained in good structural repair to, again, maintain so as not to create a safety hazard to themselves or the public. I obviously struck all lawns shall be maintained free from grass more than 10 inches.
Yeah.
And 16.6, which is maintenance after casualty damage. I thought 24 hours was a little fast. I mean, it should be done, but I suggest we maybe go to 48. It's where you secure a building that's been destroyed or damaged. Well, it's just destroyed.
It probably should say destroyed or damaged.
I like that.
Well, that makes me think of that old foundation up here on the Rummerville Road next to the cemetery.
Yeah, another
All
one.
that's there is just a hole in the ground
Yeah,
with an old chimney sticking up in the middle of it.
gets filled in a little more every year.
Yeah,
Yeah, that land's all owned by conservation agency.
yeah. Rummerville Trust, yeah.
Yeah, we know who that is. I was amazed when I looked that up and found out how much they owned up that road.
They own quite a bit.
Yeah, the land across from the cemetery, abutting the cemetery.
Yeah,
Most of the land at
next
the
to me.
intersection.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
Rummerville Road Trust, which is the Seavies.
Is what?
The Seavies, Leslie, and husband, some others. I remember when that started, there was a nice subdivision plan for the corner.
Oh,
I had something for 16.5.
Okay.
In 16.5A, under building openings, it says doors, windows, areaways, and other openings must be weather tight and secured against entry by birds, vermin, and trespassers. I think we could probably strike that and just keep the second part that says missing or broken doors, windows, and other such openings must be covered by glass or other rigid materials, which are weather protected and tightly fitted and secured to the opening. And then add language about that it relates to a safety hazard.
Okay.
Just because that's so subjective to say whether something's weather tight and it's hard to secure against entry. I'm sure most of us have had a chipmunk at some point in time.
oh yeah, yeah.
Trespassers.
Maybe go back to my war with the little wonderful little red squirrels.
Yeah, Carl, you wouldn't be in compliance.
Well, this is abandoned and vacant buildings.
Oh, okay,
I'm not abandoned or vacant, I assure you.
true.
I was trying to get them to
Good point.
vacate the present places.
That's right.
And many of them went to the cemetery up by Dawn.
Oh, excuse me.
I always left them with a bunch of peanuts.
Okay, I think it's good then if you just strike the first sentence.
Well, if abandoned buildings,
Building openings,
You want all
so they'll
this
say
missing
missing or
broken-
broken doors, windows, and other such openings must be covered by glass or other rigid materials.
Yeah, I think that's fair because you don't just want openings into vacant
Which are weather
buildings.
protected and tightly fitted and secured to the openings. And I'll add something about safety.
Okay,
And my head at the moment, not in there. Bring my red pen. All right, so I had the 48 down under penalties, 16.8. I struck which may not be suspended. I think our select board should have the right to. I mean, because it's one thing, it accrues for each day the violation continues.
Yes.
Somebody, makes a good faith effort, but I don't know. Hammond can't deliver the lumber for 4 days
Right.
or whatever, the materials or whatever. Why are we going to charge them an extra $400 if they're
Well,
making?
you
a good
can't
faith?
get a contractor right away to cover it up.
No.
I
So,
agree.
All right. Hey, guess what? I think that was the end.
there were some notes that I consolidated. So in 16.6, the select board felt that 90 days was too long and they suggested 14 days. And I don't know that we need to make that change, but we should at least respond to it, I imagine.
Well, it's right. We're secured the building 40. I said just expand it to 48, but this is only getting the permit. Yeah. 14 days, huh?
Yeah, which seems short. James, what do you think? This is in your line of business and you were there for the select board discussion.
Building permit wise,
Mm-hmm.
they're pretty easy to get, I'd say. It's probably for our town, it might be a 1 or 2 page thing. So I guess that could be at you guys' discretion.
So 90 days, probably as long. Where they want 14?
They said 14.
If they want 14, let's put in
14 it is.
Who are we to?
Okay. And then we don't think the town can take someone's property if nothing is done. There was a request to add language elsewhere in the document for the correction period. Do you have any context on that, James?
What section are you looking at?
It was just a note that Dennis passed along from when the select board talked about the ordinance. The note says add language elsewhere for the correction period.
Oof. No, I don't recall anything about that.
I don't know that we need to.
Penalties is any provision. It's $100 fine. Each day violation continues beyond the allocated correction period.
Yeah.
And I think that's.
So maybe, okay.
Doesn't have anything to do with a certain number of bricks falling off the building on Main Street.
The maintenance is just after casualty damage. Is there a period that I'm overlooking for everything else? So if someone is in violation of the ordinance, then it's upon the code enforcement officer to give them a citation. And starting at the point of citation, they would incur a penalty of $100 per day, correct? So there's nothing about a period of time between when they receive the citation. Oh, it says the CEO will set a deadline.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Blame the nature and set a deadline for violation. We need to put reasonable. I don't think we need to put reasonable.
Where,
No.
which section you in? Sorry.
16.7 enforcement.
Probably fine. And Dennis requested we work on expanding the ordinance to include annual inspections of commercial buildings and possibly rental units.
Yeah. That'd be like a whole new section. I don't have any immediate thoughts on that.
Because I know other towns require annual inspections.
Do others?
This is from Dennis's thing. Some of our efforts to clean up some of the less desirable properties in town are stymied by the lack of an inspection ordinance. I shall not name any, but I am sure you can think of some.
I don't have any, top of my head, have any suggested language for that. I'll have to do a search.
Okay, so we should take that as a takeaway.
Yeah, as a takeaway, we'll look for something about an annual inspection of properties.
Is there anything left over from the attorney comments that we need to address?
Did we get the attorney?
Yeah, we did a while back. It was in an email from Dennis. The attorney said several Maine towns have property maintenance ordinances that require ongoing maintenance or prohibit
Yeah,
accumulation.
so I have that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's. But I think everything in there has been addressed. That's what we did.
You said commercial. Do you say rental?
Yeah, he said commercial and possibly rental.
I'm sure we, technically know all the properties that are rental properties in Wisconsin. We'd be playing catch up on that one.
Maybe you could just use multifamily home or something. Actually, yeah, because not all those are rented either.
No, no.
It's not the
Now you're
rental.
taking you down at residential level, and that's not gonna happen.
And rental units, you really don't want, you want the rental, you want the building,
Yeah,
I assume.
Yeah.
Rather than rental units.
I'm just saying we don't necessarily know those offhand, and we'd have to somehow get the word out to those people.
Right.
A note in their tax bill would probably be the best way to do it. But we'll see what some other towns do. Can't be a big town to keep doing these things.
I don't know where my thoughts would fit in, but for people that are renting and they have a complaint about the landlord and the upkeep of the building, would there be some place that maybe that would fit in? Place for somebody to complain to? Is that be the code enforcement officer?
Yeah, they could complain to the.
I don't know.
code
Yeah, I don't know why you have to have anything written in it. Any person could go in and say, hey, Carl's running a junkyard or messy house or something.
Yeah,
Well, we're thinking about it.
Look at it.
Thinking about inspections of property, that might be a place to start. It'd be to review complaints from somebody. Might be a leg to give a reason to inspect.
Yeah. All right.
The thought.
Yeah, I don't think the code enforcement officer's got time to
Go up on his own? No.
make
That one-
annual inspections.
I don't know the state laws well enough to know what's in state law already and what's not. I think Maine has relatively strong rental protection laws. And there's Pine Tree Legal, which helps folks who can't afford their own law representation if they have a landlord or rental property issue.
Okay. Well, yeah, there'd be plenty of avenues there for people to take.
I seem to remember the planning board got some testimony to that effect from about a piece of property that had an apartment building on it that caused all kinds of conflict with what they wanted to do with the property, but that was brought up and it was sort of like, well, that's between you and your landlord. It's not a planning board issue, so. But yeah, they were, and I think they got their rent increased and got kicked out or something, but.
Okay.
For bringing that up and putting the public eye on the property. That's a thought, yeah. Anything else tonight?
I don't have anything else.
Okay.
Have you done all these changes?
Carl has all of them, I think, because most of them were Carl's, with the exception of in
Adding something.
16.5A under building openings, we took out a line.
Yeah, okay.
And Carl, I think you have everything else, right?
Yeah.
Actually, you have that one too.
Yeah, I'm gonna add it. Strike it.
Yeah.
For the moment, I'll keep it in format, which isn't truly Microsoft Edit. Very manual.
No, got me to do that next time.
Yeah, well, I'll fix this one or two things and send it along to you.
Okay.
I hope to go out in the field again tomorrow, so might not be.
You would,
I hope to go back out into the field again.
Oh.
So, see. All right, there's nothing else.
I will, the, not the maintenance, the,
So that,
code of ethics. Yeah, I sent Dennis one because he kept saying, no, this isn't what we want.
yeah,
You know, well, William James is here. I just want to call him William. You know, when the planning board, when the selectmen want the planning board to do, the ordinance review committee to do something, come up with an ordinance, it would be nice if we had more direction than come up with a marijuana ordinance or come up with a property maintenance ordinance or whatever. So we have a little idea of what is wanted. The other
what are
thing,
the goals?
yeah,
What's the purpose of the ordinance?
and the other thing, it would be nice if the Board of Selectmen would then write a letter or a memo to the Ordinance Review Committee saying exactly what we want, because nobody even contacts Carl and says, we want the ORC to do this.
All
They
right.
just assume that I know because I was there taking minutes, you know, but that might not always be the case.
Yeah.
But it would not, we should have a little more direction than just do an ordinance on marijuana or something.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you, Jackie.
Thanks.
There's a huge disconnect. When someone on the board says they want to change, that's all you guys get is they want to change, but not necessarily what it is. So
Particularly with the marijuana ordinance, when that came up to the selectmen, Dusty went through a whole bunch of things that he wanted changed, but that was only Dusty's opinion, and those were what we were told to go with, Dusty's opinion. So I never knew whether anybody else had other,
Kind of talked about that.
other ideas. But anyway, it's just a thought.
Yeah, it was one, not a consensus of the board, even if they don't vote.
yeah, I think that's what makes it hard to make changes, is because it's never gonna be a consensus of the board. So it's kind of hard to balance that and give it back to you guys.
Even if there can't be a full consensus, if there was a clear point that was being voted on and the majority vote was what went into the ordinance, that could be helpful.
Yeah.
A whole lot better than, why did you guys put that in there?
Yeah.
As we got out our crystal ball and said, what did they mean? All right. There being no further business, I'm going to adjourn.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree.
Take care, everybody. And next
you.
time, we'll try to make sure the owl works. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is there
we'll check to see if somebody's trying to get online. I didn't even, I had started the meeting, but I said, hey, nobody's here. So
well, I have this cough, so I didn't want to come down.
that's probably good to keep it up there.
Thought you might like.
Is there a planning board at 7 tonight?
No, there's not, Jim. There's no business before the board.
All right.
But there is a training session, if you didn't see the email, on the 18th.
18th, I saw it.
Yeah, you can do it on Zoom, or you can go to the Lincoln County Planning Office.
Well, put me down for Zoom.
You got to sign yourself up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think I've signed up yet, so I will.
No, I know I didn't.
Well, that's the same one we did last time.
It did got postponed. It was a month ago and it got postponed because Emily had the death in the family.
No, I had one. I did one via Zoom last fall sometime.
Yeah, it was October, I thought.
There's never enough of them.
Yeah.
Susan
But that
raising
was
her
the
hand.
fall. That-
Susan Johns is raising her hand.
Oh, yes, Susan.
Hi there. Sorry. Yeah, I was otherwise occupied, so I joined the meeting late, so my game plan will be to just catch up with everything that I missed whenever this shows up as a Zoom recording on YouTube. If it was indeed recorded, you know.
Yep, I think
Okay.
it did, but there were audio and visual problems, so now I can see people, but
I think it was
Okay.
recorded because I had to click OK in the beginning.
Oh,
think-
excellent.
I
Okay.
think It said it was being
we're
recorded.
basically operating off Anna's.
Yeah. Do the ORC ones immediately go on YouTube?
I have no idea. No, I
I
think,
can't
well,
recall.
now that there's before we were all just under one committee and he broke them out, but I logged in as ordinance review, so
Right, I think Dennis has to put it on.
yeah, he probably has to upload it.
Okay, so just, yeah, thank you. And like I say, whenever it appears, or I'll reach out to the town if I need to see about the link or to know when to expect it. But thanks very much.
Okay, Susan.
All right.
All right, folks, I'm gonna hit that end button.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Have a good evening.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Bye-bye.